Hey, honey, guess what? I got the mail today. Oh, well, that's very good, honey. Did we get anything good? Oh, well, let me check. I just got into the house. Let me see here. We got a bill. Got a bill. Got another bill. We got Sewer of the Month Club. Honey, that's for you. Oh, thank you so much, dear. I was waiting for that subscription to come. Oh, well, we got another bill. Oh, here's something interesting. A Christmas card from the White House. Well, honey, what does it say? Oh, well, let me open it up first. Oh, Will, I just can't believe they got it just for me. I think that's absolutely incredible. Oh, wow. I mean, they shouldn't have. It says here, wishing you a winter of severe illness and death this holiday season. Honey, is this a threat? Well, how am I supposed to know, dear? I don't know. Go throw it in the fire with the other ones. Alrighty, will do. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are back with our very 84th episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. And if you are excited to be here, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's start out this new year right. Speaking of New Year, Merry New Year! And also, Happy Christmas! And also, Happy Hanukkah or Happy Kwanzaa. Anyway, I know it has been a little bit of a long time, and I would apologize, but I got to spend it with friends and family, so it was good to sort of take a break, and I hope that you had a good break as well. However, we are back, and I'm ready to start off the new year right, talking about something that has been on my mind for a very long time recently. Now, I will admit, and I know that you're probably thinking the same exact way, but I am 100% sick and tired of COVID-19. If I had one wish while the ball was dropping, it would be for it to all go away and everyone would just chill out. But the media and people are continuing to spread their fear about Omicron and COVID. When we last talked, I explained that Omicron looked a lot weaker. And guess what? That's still true today. So far, it is still very contagious, but the number of deaths is nowhere near the severity of Delta or the Alpha variant. However, there are still people out there in the media that are continuing to spread fear and claim that if you get COVID, you are going to die, or you are going to spread it to grandma and then she will die. Sometimes that's true, but with Omicron, it seems to be less likely, which of course is a good thing. And right now we have a bit of a situation, as we are dealing with a cult of COVID extremists that are holding us all back from living our normal lives. Now, I want to make something very, very clear. I, myself, personally, am a religious person, and I think that we can all agree and understand the difference between a cult and a religion. For me, a religion is having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, following his commands and understanding that I might slip up, make a mistake, and sin, but luckily for me, I have Jesus that died for my sins. I bet other religions follow this same line of thinking. People pray to their gods and ask for help or forgiveness, and most religious people try to be good people in general. A cult, on the other hand, is something much darker. Usually in a cult, it is a small group of people that have crazy religious views that harm other people. Like, for example, there may be a cult leader that tells all of his congregation to drink some random Kool-Aid that he poisoned, killing all the people. But the cult leader told the people that if they drink it, then they will live, they will go up into the stars or something crazy like that. So clearly we can see a difference, but the similarities to COVID and religion and a cult are striking. In different religions, there are certain things that people wear that will show other people that they are in a religion. These are harmless. like a yarmulke for Jewish men, a hijab for Muslim women, a cross necklace for Christian men or women. Some of these are required by the religion, and sometimes people wear them to be modest or to be an example of their faith. For COVID-19, we can clearly see that the mask is a religious sign, and slowly it is turning more cultish. Now you might be thinking, Kyle, masks are just being worn to protect people, and don't you wear a mask? Yes, I do wear masks when I'm asked to, but usually I try not to because I don't think that they do what they're supposed to do, because there are many studies that show that cloth masks or surgical masks cannot be helpful in stopping the spread of COVID-19. Sometimes masks are nothing but facial decoration. Now, you don't have to just take my word for it. Here's a CNN doctor saying the exact same thing that I just said.
We should be keeping the events that are safe, and also the events that have fun for people too. We can't be canceling everything, especially if we're going to be living with COVID for the foreseeable future. I would say that if you choose to go, make sure that you're vaccinated and boosted. Make sure that you're wearing a mask, even though it's outdoors. If there are lots of people packed around you, wearing a 3-ply surgical mask. Don't wear a cloth mask. Cloth masks are little more than facial decorations.
So while wearing a mask can be a religious sign, it's not harmful to other people, like a person wearing a hijab, a person wearing a yarmulke, a person wearing a cross necklace. It's not harmful to other people. However, it crosses the line between a religion and a cult when people decide to mask their children. There are many studies out there that show that kids, especially young kids, are A, not getting COVID-19, and B, are suffering psychologically. And in early development, they need to read people's emotions from facial expressions. And with masks, they can't do that. It's time for the government to leave kids alone. They don't need to wear a mask and a face shield. They will be fine. But the cult continues on this mask train, not just for children, but also for adults as well. Apparently, there's a really big fear with COVID when it comes to people riding on airplanes. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You are in a confined space with multiple people. You don't really know what they are or who they are or what diseases they're spreading. However, airplanes have very good filtration. And according to John Lafter, who is Delta Airlines executive vice president and chief of operations, said we continue to spray our aircraft interiors with high-grade disinfectants and use HEPA air filters to remove 99.9% of airborne particles on board. 99.9% of germs are pretty good. These filters are very good at getting rid of COVID. And also, this is very important, there have been no cases of a massive spread of COVID-19 from an airplane. Some are even calling for mask mandates to be removed from airplanes because they are not needed at all. However, there are still these COVID cult elitists that think they have to put these rules into their own hands. Some workers as well are watching intensely for anyone that may slip down their mask for a sip of coffee or even to eat a sandwich or something. I don't know what they eat on airplanes. Do they still have the peanuts? I haven't actually ever been on an airplane, so I don't know what they eat. Anyway, while workers are watching for masks to slip, the cultists are also working to help make sure people are wearing their masks as well. They are doing this in a kind and peaceful way. Like, for example, spitting into another person's mouth. There was a viral video that recently came out. Sadly, I can't play it because there was a lot of swearing in it, but it is absolutely hilarious. There was an 80-year-old man that was eating or drinking something, slipped down his mask for a second, and this woman charged him, telling him to put his mask back on. Which, I mean, if anyone's dumb in this situation, it's her, because it is very hard to eat with a mask on. Trust me, I've tried. The argument gets more heated as they start to swear at each other, and then the man tells her to go sit down and calls her a Karen. Then he calls her the swear word for female dog, and she slaps the man, and then gets close to his face and spits at the man, which ends up going into his mouth. Which, I am no Fauci, but I don't think that's very COVID-friendly. The irony of this entire story is that you would think that the woman that was confronting the man that wasn't masked was also masked. Well, during the full video, her mask is down, and the airport team is actually telling her to put her mask back on. It is absolutely ridiculous and also hypocritical, to say the least. The end of the story was good, as the Karen was arrested and the 80-year-old man probably had to go get a tetanus shot, but At least he was able to enjoy his sandwich in peace. There was also another person on Twitter that continued to take photos of people that didn't have a mask on in the airport, thinking that he was doing a great service for the people and calling people out. But in reality, it shows that he is in a cult, and they want everyone else to do the exact same thing that they are doing because in their mind, this is the only way that they can stay safe. There is this man that has a shower cap on his head. He has goggles, 2 masks on, gloves, and a shirt that says he loves Fauci. Now, I found this on the internet, and hopefully it's a joke, but none of this will stop COVID. Then there was this woman that wrote on Twitter, "I'm flying today, but I'm not messing around with Omicron." I think she said another word, but we are a family-friendly show here at the Dockery Docket. Then she made a list of all the things that she's doing to protect herself. 3 shots of the Pfizer vaccine, a negative rapid test, natural immunity, N95 mask sealed to my face with surgical tape, secondary mask for displaying opinions, a face shield, vinyl gloves, touchscreen gloves, and a lot of Xanax. Listen, okay? There is a difference in protecting yourself and going absolutely crazy. And sadly, when it comes to all this, people have bought into the media's fear tactics. They believe that they are going to die of COVID, so they do ridiculous things even though they have 3 shots of Pfizer vaccine. They yell at people and make fools of themselves, and they take pictures of people while they're wearing a shower cap and goggles. They are living in a cult. This leads us to talk about another aspect of the COVID-19 cult, the vaccine. Now, once again, if you want to go get the vaccine, that is perfectly fine. Go do it. However, there are, of course, people that are going overboard. And this, I believe, comes from the cult leaders themselves. There used to be a thing, it literally lasted 2 weeks, where the president got on TV and said, "You are either masked or vaxxed." Meaning that if you got the vaccine, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. You are free. Then Delta came along and everyone started to mask up again. The cult leader Fauci said 2 masks are way better than 1. And then the rules for the vaccine changed. First, it was only 1 shot. And then it was 2 shots. Then it was 3. And soon, mark my words, it will be 4 shots. In Israel, they are already recommending 4 shots. Another thing that the cult leader Fauci and also other scientists said was that breakthrough cases are very, very rare. They are so rare that they barely happen. Then, of course, Omicron happened. And for some reason, Omicron likes to attack people that have already had the vaccine, aka breakthrough cases. As over the Christmas break, there were many high-end people that were getting COVID. Senator Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren got COVID. Senator Cory Booker, aka Spartacus, got COVID. Jason Crow, also a Democratic senator, got COVID. TV personality and idiot Jim Cramer also got COVID. Even though all of them received 3, count them, 3 doses of the vaccine. Luckily, all of them had the same exact response. Come on, everybody, say it with me. I am fully vaccinated and boosted and just tested positive for COVID-19. I am very grateful for the protection my vaccines continue to provide. There are also many other people that aren't famous that are getting COVID even though they are vaccinated and boosted. I know them personally. All of this reminds me of the story of Job. If you aren't religious, that's all good. I can explain the story pretty fast. Job was a biblical character that lived a blameless life. He did everything right. He praised the Lord. He followed his commands. For a person at the time, he was perfect. He was genuinely a good person. Then Satan comes up to the Lord and is like, "Hey, that Job guy won't worship you if you take all of his possessions away and hurt him. He would curse you." So the Lord is like, "You want to bet?" And so God lets Satan give all these challenges to Job. He kills his livestock, he kills his kids, he kills his servants. His house is blown away. Everything is taken away from him, even his health, as he is struck with sores all over his body. Not a very good Sunday school lesson. The point is that there are people that are out there in this cult that are doing everything right. They are following the rules. They are following the CDC orders. They are listening to Fauci. They are testing people before they come into their house for a Christmas party. They wear a mask, maybe even 3. And still the god of COVID, I put that in quotations, strikes them down with this disease. The whole point of the story of Job was to say that sometimes bad things happen to good people. And even when bad things happen to good people, you should praise the Lord because he knows better than you. In the end of the story of Job, he was able to get everything that he lost back, and the Lord blessed him more because of his hardship. Bad things are going to happen to people when it comes to COVID. People are going to get it, even if they do everything to prevent it. Omicron can spread very fast. And people need to learn that if you get Omicron, then likely it will be a mild case, almost like the flu. And then you will have antibodies, and you will get rid of it, and you will be blessed for going through a hardship just like Job was. However, the cult leaders are continuing to jump on this idea that there should be zero COVID at all, meaning that we need to lock everything down. So just like I predicted in the Omicron song, only available on Spotify, restrictions are coming, and they are coming very hard in major cities. But these are the sacrifices that we, the people, must make, because the politicians are continuing to break these laws over and over and over again, but they claim they are the most righteous people on planet Earth. They act like the Pharisees that continued to try and tell Jesus that they were better than him because they followed the law. Then Jesus would come back and call them snakes and vipers. Well, these politicians are the same way. They are snakes that want to control your life. I mean, seriously, this stuff is very, very scary to say the least. As in New York, the mayor, Bill de Blasio, announced that there would be an increase in the use of vaccine passports in the city. Even children are involved, which is absolutely messed up. As according to the new law, children between the ages of 5 and 11 must show proof of vaccination before going into indoor dining, fitness centers, entertainment centers, and performance venues. Here's a video of a group of police officers surrounding a mother and her child, demanding them leave because they didn't show their papers.
Wow. Scaring a child, traumatizing a child. Hope you feel good about yourself, NYPD. This is disgusting. This is gross.
You guys failed us last night. You failed us last night.
If you are listening on Spotify, there are at least 10 officers surrounding this table. It is absolutely ridiculous. It is sad. And for that child, it was a traumatic experience. The woman that is commenting on this video is correct. This is disturbing and terrible and completely messed up. We have a situation where crime is running rampant in these big cities, but we have a dozen police officers making sure that everyone is vaccinated and also kicking people out of a restaurant. It is despicable. But New York isn't the only state stepping up their vaccine mandates. It's just getting worse. As the mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, passed a bill that made it mandatory for vaccine passports for people that wanted to go into restaurants, bars, and gyms, just like in New York. In a press conference, she was asked about this, and she said, "If you wish to live life with the ease to do things you love, you must be vaccinated. This health order may pose an inconvenience to the unvaccinated, and in fact, it is inconvenient by design." Government officials, like mayors or presidents or governors, are supposed to be empowered to represent us, not to use their power to force people to do what they want them to do. It's like these mayors are being little dictators, and they shouldn't have ever had that power in the first place. The power to stop people from doing what they want, including but not limited to preventing them from getting food, is absolutely disgusting. It reminds me of King Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible when he creates a law demanding that all the people pray and worship him. Well, Daniel disagrees because he believes in the one true God. When this is discovered, he is thrown into the lion's den. Luckily, he survived because he did what was right. Maybe we should be more like Daniel and stand up for what we believe in, telling the government we won't listen to their stupid lockdowns or mandates, and we won't bend to their fear. Fear is a very strong emotion, and it is something that the Biden administration has tried to use to force people to get the vaccine. As from the White House, there was a message that came out and said, "Hey, if you are vaccinated, you can hang out with your family and enjoy the holidays." However, for the unvaccinated, they have a different message. As the White House said, For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourself, your families, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm. Dum dum dum! This was released right before Christmas, so it was a great way to wish people a Merry Christmas. Because of this, there were many memes that came out and that were created showing this phrase on Christmas cards. Like this one from Joe Biden taking a selfie. Or this one from the White House saying Merry Christmas with the tagline, wishing you a winter of severe illness and death this holiday season. The reality of the situation right now is that Omicron is not that bad, and it is like a strong flu. It is also ironic that these states that are pushing these vaccine mandates and mask mandates and lockdowns are seeing a large rise in cases, but they will continue to claim that COVID is a virus of the unvaccinated. Sure. In the end, the cult of COVID extremists have gone crazy. They shouldn't be listened to. They are trying to control your life, and they are trying to scare you when Omicron isn't really that scary. Yes, cases are going up, but right now, we aren't seeing the deaths that we saw with Delta or the Alpha variant, which is once again is a good thing. I believe that everyone is going to get Omicron, and we can beat it, with or without the vaccine. Remember, religion is something that doesn't hurt people, when people are allowed to choose what to believe or not to believe. But if you are trying to shove something down a person's throat and telling them that they are a bad person because they aren't masked or vaccinated, or saying that you are better than them because you are vaxxed or masked, it means that you are a part of a cult. And it is time for an intervention. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next week, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye.